How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
And when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today, he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agreed.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish it.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those.
A music empire that once defined an era now stands on the brink of collapse, not just from scandal, but from betrayal within. Sean Diddy Combs, the legendary music mogul behind Bad Boy Records, is now fighting for his life in a courtroom. The charges he faces are so severe they threaten to erase everything he's built over decades. But this isn't just another celebrity downfall, it's a family tragedy. Diddy isn't just up against federal prosecutors, he's facing betrayal from his own blood. His eldest son, Christian Combs, the same son he raised in luxury and fame, is now the star witness against him. Christian is caught in an impossible choice between loyalty and freedom. How did the king of hip-hop become a prisoner of his own empire? And what if this betrayal wasn't spontaneous but carefully orchestrated behind the scenes? A series of hidden moves and silent power plays were already in motion. What began as a scandal has spiraled into a battle that could destroy not only Diddy's career, but his entire legacy. And it all started with a betrayal no one saw coming.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
They say betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from someone you trust. For Sean Diddy Combs, that betrayal has a name. Christian Combs, his eldest son. The same son who once stood proudly by his side at award shows, smiled for cameras on red carpets, and even followed his father into the music industry to the world. Christian was a rising star, a reflection of Diddy's legacy. But behind the scenes, he was something else entirely, an informant. Leaked documents have revealed a bombshell. Christian is now cooperating with federal prosecutors. And this isn't ordinary cooperation, it's a high-stakes deal that could bring his own father down. A sealed memo never meant to see the light of day outlines that Christian holds damning knowledge about Diddy's secret parties, private jet flights, and even the hush money allegedly used to silence certain guests. Why would a son turn on his father? Was he threatened? Was he offered immunity? Or did he see an escape from a life built on shadows and secrets? Diddy's legal team wasted no time accusing the government of weaponizing family ties, arguing that Christian had been manipulated into betraying his own blood. But the damage was done. The unraveling began with a midnight raid that shattered the illusion of control. Homeland Security agents stormed Diddy's lavish Los Angeles and Miami mansions under the cover of darkness. Their mission was clear. Seize everything: phones, laptops, financial records, anything that could prove Diddy's involvement in a sprawling scandal. But the real shock wasn't just the raid itself, it was what they found. agents confiscated 14 digital devices, many of which were packed with personal conversations between father and son. These messages, prosecutors say, could reveal the inner workings of a secret empire, an empire built not just on fame, but on silence. Christian, once cherished as a loyal son, now appeared to hold the keys to his father's undoing. Was he pressured into cooperating? Did he betray Diddy to protect himself? Speculation exploded. Some say the raid was a trap designed to corner Christian into flipping, but the truth may be even darker, because the evidence hidden in those devices reportedly goes beyond celebrity excess. It points to parties, payments, and power plays that threaten to not only ruin Diddy's career but destroy everything he's ever built, and this is only the beginning.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish.
They say betrayal stings the most when it comes from those closest to you. For Sean Diddy Combs, that betrayal comes with a name, Christian Combs, his eldest son. The same son who once stood beside him at awards shows, smiled under flashing cameras, on red carpets, and followed in his father's footsteps into the music world. But now, the public face of family unity is unraveling behind closed doors. Leaked documents have confirmed what fans and insiders feared. Christian is cooperating with federal prosecutors in a case that could take down the empire his father spent decades building. The indictment paints a dark picture. These weren't just celebrity parties or luxurious getaways. Prosecutors allege the extravagant gatherings in the Hamptons on private islands and in multi-million-dollar Miami villas served as fronts for illegal activities including trafficking. At the heart of it all, they claim, was Christian Combs. Texts show him booking private jets, curating guest lists, and coordinating high-level payments. To the world, he was Diddy's son enjoying the perks of fame. But to federal agents, he was the gatekeeper of a carefully guarded operation. Diddy's legal team has fired back, dismissing the claims as fiction and insisting the parties were standard industry events. Any illicit behavior, they argue, came from outsiders, not the hosts. But the evidence told a different story, and Christian wasn't the only family member caught in the storm. As the investigation expanded, whispers began circulating. Prosecutors were targeting more than just one son. Diddy's other children, Justin Combs and Quincy Brown, were reportedly approached. Would they too be forced to choose between family loyalty and legal survival? Pressure tactics, secret meetings, and offers of immunity loomed in the background. What began as a single betrayal now threatened to dismantle an entire family. The entertainment world was split. Some hailed Christian as brave, a whistleblower breaking generational silence. Others branded him a traitor willing to sell out his own blood. The internet caught fire. Hashtags like Protect King Combs and Diddy Exposed dominated timelines. Debates raged in comment sections, gossip forums, and late-night talk shows. Was Christian a victim or an opportunist? Was this justice or just revenge dressed up as truth? One voice that added fuel to the fire was rapper 50 Cent. Never shy of controversy, he began posting cryptic messages on Instagram suggesting he had documents that could blow the case wide open. Was he bluffing, chasing clout? Or did he truly know? Something the world didn't? The chaos reached a boiling point when federal agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Under the cover of night, Homeland Security stormed the properties, seizing electronics, financial records, and personal devices. Among them, 14 pieces of tech filled with damning evidence, messages between father and son, private conversations, encrypted texts. What they found, prosecutors claim, was a roadmap to a $74 million empire built on secrecy and manipulation. The money trail was staggering. Over $74 million funneled through a complex web of 17 shell companies, all linked back to Diddy lavish jet rentals, 5-star yacht charters, elite catering costs, private villas. It was a lifestyle that screamed opulence, but now it reeked of corruption. The paper trail told its own story, and Christian's name was all over it. Invoices showed Christian personally signing off on large expenses, yachts, jets, exclusive party logistics. His name appeared not just as a participant, but as a facilitator. Prosecutors alleged this wasn't just a family connection, it was direct involvement. Diddy's legal team pushed back, calling the charges a distortion of luxury into criminality. They insisted the payments were standard business operations, and Christian was being manipulated by overzealous authorities. But the prosecutors weren't backing down. Outside the courtroom, Diddy's world was crumbling in the fame-driven entertainment. Industry image is everything. And Diddy's once unshakable reputation was now in free fall. Brands began pulling endorsements. Liquor distributors that once boasted about his tequila brand quietly backed away. Ad campaigns featuring his face were scrapped overnight. Even streaming platforms saw a spike in his music, not out of admiration, but from listeners trying to understand the man now under such heavy scrutiny. Meanwhile, the courtroom became the new stage. Paparazzi lined the streets. News anchors provided play-by-plays. Fans live-streamed from outside, holding signs that either condemned or defended the music mogul. Some shouted, "Justice for Christian," others cried, "Diddy forever." Inside tension thickened with every day of proceedings. At the heart of the trial was a question so raw, so painful it tore through the courtroom like a blade. Would Christian Combs take the stand against his own father? Reporters speculated. Legal analysts debated. Family friends were silent, but everyone knew if Christian testified, it could be the end of Diddy's empire. The prosecution had texts, emails, and banking records, but Christian's words spoken under oath could seal the verdict. Then came the day. The gallery was packed, cameras flashed. A low murmur filled the room. At the center of it, all stood Diddy, composed, but clearly under pressure. Christian entered, flanked by attorneys. His mother sat in the gallery, staring at the floor, unable or unwilling to meet her son's eyes. The judge called for silence. As Christian approached the stand, time seemed to pause. This was no longer just a legal proceeding. It was a reckoning. Before Christian could speak, Diddy's lawyers made one final play. They claimed Christian had been coerced, pressured by prosecutors, manipulated into betraying his own blood. They painted him as a pawn, a scared young man used as a weapon in a larger game. The room buzzed with whispered speculation. But when Christian opened his mouth, the courtroom went silent. His voice was calm, his gaze steady. "I never wanted this," he said. "But the truth needs to be told." Gasps echoed through the room. Diddy's expression didn't change, but the weight of those words hung heavy. For many, that moment marked the beginning of the end. And yet the story doesn't end there. More names are emerging. More documents are being unsealed. The case is growing, not shrinking. What began as a family scandal has become a cultural reckoning, a moment where power, fame, loyalty, and truth collide. This is no longer just about Diddy. It's about the machine behind the fame. The whispers that were once dismissed as rumors are now evidence. The parties weren't just for fun. They were stages where manipulation, secrecy, and deals were made behind velvet ropes. As the trial continues, the world watches. Some in disbelief, some in mourning, others in grim satisfaction. One thing is certain. The empire Sean Combs built is now exposed. And whether it survives or collapses, it will never be the same.